Getting your Vessi Fermentor and Dispenser is an exciting day. However, before you begin your fermentation, you must follow these simple installation instructions. Your unit will be delivered on a pallet. To remove it from the pallet, first cut the straps, open the top flaps, remove the foam blocks, corner posts, and accessory boxes. Do not lose the accessory boxes, we will need them later. Lift the carton off and dispose of or recycle the packaging materials. Finally, you will need a 7/16 wrench to remove the 4 shipping brackets from the pallet. There is 4 shipping brackets with 2 bolts each. The first one is here on the unit's right side. There is 2 more in the back and 1 more on the left side. So using the 7/16 wrench, simply loosen them and remove the bolts. Repeat the process for all 8 bolts. Once both bolts have been removed, simply grab the bracket, push up and in, and jiggle to move out of the way. As you can see, there's a little J hook that grabs on the inside of the unit to hold it in place. Warning: excessive weight hazard. Use 2 or more people to move and install Vessi Fermentor and Dispenser. Failure to do so can result in back or other injury. Now that all 4 brackets have been removed, use 2 or more people to lift Vessi off the pallet. The Vessi Fermentor has 4 caster wheels, 2 in the back that rotate freely and 2 in the front that do not rotate but are lockable. Go to the front of the unit, and using those caster wheels, you can steer the unit back into place. And once you do so, if desired, you can then go down and lock the front casters into place. Next, we'll install the CO2 tank. Your Vessi Fermentor is designed to work with a standard 5-pound food-grade CO2 cylinder to provide pressure to the unit. Tanks can be rented from your local gas supply company, and if you don't know where that is, you can check with a local welding shop and they will be able to help you with that. Warning: asphyxiation hazard. Do not use a CO2 tank larger than 5 pounds. Doing so can result in death or serious injury. Before installing the gas tank, make sure that the 3-way valve on the top of the control panel is in the closed or off position, straight up the middle. Next, remove the panel from the back of the unit. To do so, pull out and up to remove from the unit. Unpack and remove the provided CO2 regulator. Next, we'll attach the provided regulator to the CO2 tank so that it's positioned off to the left of the bottle with the dials facing forward, just like that. Note that there is a gasket that comes provided with a regulator that is intended to be fitted here between the gas tank and the regulator. It also goes on here one way, meaning that you can't push it the wrong way, you can only push it on this way. This way you can be sure that you're doing it right. Okay, then you put the regulator in place and you start finger tightening the nut. It's a right-handed thread for CO2. And then once you have it finger tight, then you can use a crescent wrench and tighten the rest of the way. Now that we've attached the regulator to the gas bottle, now is the time to connect to the gas line, a white gas line that comes out of the back of the unit. In order to do this, the regulator has been provided with a push lock fitting. Simply take the white gas line, insert into the fitting, and give it a firm tug, and then you know it's connected. To make sure, you can give it a tug outwards, and if it doesn't come off, you're good to go. Just so you know, in the future, if you want to remove this, there's a little white ring here. What you do is you use your fingernails to push up on that, while at the same time pulling the gas line out. It's that simple. So we'll push it back in one more time, like this. And now we'll put the entire regulator with the dials facing outwards back into the back of the unit. And we will use the supplied strap to secure it into place. All right. The next thing we want to do is turn the valve on top of the gas bottle counterclockwise to the left, all the way, to engage the flow of CO2. Now, there's two dials on the regulator. The dial on the left measures the pressure inside the gas cylinder. So if you're not down in the red, you know that you have a full gas bottle. The dial on the top of the regulator is the one that measures the pressure supplied to the fermenter. Typically, for most applications, you'll want that to be around 15 to 20 psi. In order to adjust it to that, use the center dial and start turning clockwise to the right until you start engaging the pressure, and pretty soon you're going to see the dial start going up. And in this example, I'm going to set it to about 15 psi. Make sure that as you're making adjustments to the pressure, you're also listening for gas leaks at the same time. Now note that you should set your CO2 pressure at about 5 psi above the intended fermentation pressure. Okay, the gas system is now ready for use. I'm going to turn the unit around so you can see the control panel. The three-way valve on the top of the control panel determines whether the gas pressure is off when it's up and down. When you turn it to the right, it pressurizes the liquid injection system. And when you turn it to the left, it's when it pressurizes the vessel itself. Our next step is to install the tap tower. Our first step is to remove the tap tower from the packaging. Our draft tower installs right here. Our first step is to remove the 4 screws that are holding down the gasket. For that, you will need a Phillips screwdriver. Now that we have the screws removed, is actually a very good time to remove the protective film that is on top of the unit so that it's no longer trapped underneath the tower when we install it. Okay, with the protective film removed, we now need to reattach the tower. Make sure that the faucet is facing forward toward the rest of the unit. We push the draft line in with our fingers, and then we're carefully aligning the holes in the gasket with the holes on the top of the unit and also the holes in the bottom of the draft tower itself. And then we reattach the 4 screws, same way as we took them in, out in reverse. Okay, now with the tower attached and in place, you can remove the rest of the protective film from the rest of the unit, and we're almost ready to go. Next thing is to sanitize and prepare your unit for your first fermentation with a Vessi Fermentor and Dispenser.